Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review and another revisit review for another 20th anniversary review on one of my favorite horror films. I really enjoy this film. I think it's also another underrated horror film as well. I reviewed this film long ago when I was first starting out, actually, on here, and I really do enjoy the film. I love this movie. Especially well made. It's also made one of my favorite directors, let alone an underrated director, because who doesn't get talked much nowadays, sadly. And that is the 20th anniversary visit review of The Relic. Yes, I love this movie. Definitely underrated creature feature film. Great cast. Tom Sizemore, I really do enjoy. Penelope Ann Miller, I like her as well. All starring Linda Hunt and James Whitmore. And the for visual effects, the CGI of the creature, it's not like great though, but I can tolerate it because I'm having fun with the movie. Plus, it's good. It's mixed with a good mixture of practical effects done by Stan Winston. Yeah, the late Stan Winston. The practical effects of the Cathoga creature, excellent effects. The music by John Denby, who just did I know did last summer, right, which I just reviewed. I really do enjoy this score. Um, and well directed by Peter Hyams. Peter Hyams, I enjoy as a director. He directed a great assortment of different films and genres. The next horror film after this, he directed End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's an underrated film of his. Um, he directed Outland with Sean Connery and The Presidio, also with Sean Connery. Narrow Margin with Gene Hackman. Um, The Star Chamber with Michael Douglas. 2010, the year we made contact with Roy Scheider. That's a great sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Um, there was another film. Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. Um, the a Sound of Thunder from 2005. The idea is interesting, but this was the execution overall. I'll have to review that because it's something about A Son of Thunder. I know it was a disaster though, but I'll have to rewatch that again though. But it just had a lot. That film just had a lot of problems going through in production though, so I'll have to give that a try. Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, another film with Michael Douglas. I think that's definitely one of his weak. That's one of his Peter Hyams' weakest movies. But for like most of them, all the movies that I have enjoyed from Peter Hyams, he's a good director, and as well as from virtually all of his films, he's also the director of photography, so he knows how to shoot films well. Um, he's just an underrated director. He's directed good movies, and this is one I definitely really do enjoy. Oh, and that's another one with Van Damme as well. That's what other films I forget. Time Cop, and Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and also in 2013 I think was Enemies Closer, also with Van Damme. Those movies I do, all three of those movies I like, especially Time Cop, and then Sudden Death as well. Can't forget to mention those. But I enjoy this film. I like the setup. It's a monster in a museum, which I've already told you can check that out in my original review of though, so I won't be long on this one, just for visiting it. It's a monster in a museum. A guy by the name of John Whitney, who works at the museum in Chicago. He's visiting this tribe in South America, I think in Brazil. He drinks some stuff, then he goes back because wherever he wants on that boat, he wants off of it, but it got switched on a plane, so he's stuck in a boat, and then it's like about a couple weeks or a couple weeks later. Tom Sizemore, he plays a cop in Chicago, and like his whole character is all superstitious. He has this lucky bullet that he has, and his partner um Hollingsworth, played by Clayton O'Ronner. They go open the bills, all these dismembered body parts and heads, and then cuts to the museum where Penelope Ann Miller works as Dr. Margot Green. She needs money for research, but this sleazoid of a other guy who works there by the name of Greg Lee is applying for the same grant that she has, which even though he already got one. Um, and then one night when the museum is closed, when these two children sneak in after closing hours, a security guard goes in the bathroom to have a smoke a joint, and then all of a sudden, boom! A hand grabs him, drags him underneath from the stalls, and kills him. Even though it's off screen, but I like the impact of it. All of a sudden, just grabs the guy's leg, and then just drags him underneath, and then they find his head just later. Incident where his head is dismembered and the brain is out. Good effects. It ends to kill the two kids though. I guess they're traumatized after it, and then that's been like a week. All this has been like a week after the boat scene. So, then the homicide is coming in. Tom Sizemore is investigating as well. Finds like the familiar of the killing of the security guard, like the people on the boat. Talks with Linda Hunt about this big party they're about to have. And during the autopsy, they find out the part of the brain is missing its hypothalamus, which produces hormones. Because that's the whole thing with the Cathoga, it needs hormones to survive. So because in Africa it had these leaves that had like a virus, which it ate though, but now it's going for human brains. It has hormones in it, hypothalamuses. So it needs to feed on those. And you get a good effect where Penelope Miller, she saves some of those leaves from Brazil, but a small bug hides in it. Shortly afterwards, it gets to eat some of the plants, and all of a sudden it's grown huge, and she crushes it. Good bug effect as well, just huge. And then meanwhile during this investigation, Tom Sizemore's talking with Penelope Miller some more, and two cops down in the basement, they shoot this homeless guy who had an axe, which they think is the person, but Tom Sizemore knows better. He feels something is not right, even though the guy had the dead guard's wallet, carrying an axe and all that, and even a watch from the boat. It points to this guy, but Tom Sizemore is not moved about it. He says he's not gonna have the party go on, but the mayor calls that they are gonna have the party. And he tells the guy who's head of the security of the museum, says, "I'm gonna maintain police throughout." And he's like, "How much police?" And he goes, "As much as I goddamn deem necessary." Tom Sizemore, he did a great job with this. I enjoy his character of the cop, Vincent D'Augusta. So the party is going on, and D'Augusta takes Hollingsworth and a guy with to track what's killing out there with the smell with these two dogs. And while the party's going on, and the two dogs, they run off their leash. They get away from the cop and they run after it, but it kills one of the dogs and it throws it at them. Then Hollingsworth starts shooting, and the cop stupidly goes after the other dog. He finds the dog, and it's like, "What's the matter with you?" And the dog looks, and the creature comes up and kills that guy, and it lets the dog live. Guess because it was scared. But D'Augusta goes after that guy, finds the guy beheaded, and finds the dog and takes it back with him. When he tells Hollingsworth and the other guy was with him to evacuate the museum. And when they get to the new exhibition where they've set up together from South America, they look at the statue of the Cathoga, which I like that statue as well. Is when the cop gets there to warn them, a body drops from the ceiling, and then it starts a whole panic. And I like when it just gives one last shot of the statue of the Cathoga, knowing that it's there. I like that little shot where it shows a close-up of the statue. And all of this with a great score by John Denby as well. Then all the doors close. Some people are trapped in the museum, along with the cop and Helen Hunt and some other guys, including the sleazoid Greg. Um, but the whole time, also Penelope and Miller is with James Whitmore because all the doors were locked, so they're trying to find a way out. They meet with Tom Sizemore. Well, before the creature killed 2 security guards, and he's talking with Hollingsworth on the walkie, saying, "Go to the part of the sewer leads out on the other side of the museum. Stick together." Of course, the lead of security of the museum says, "No, I'm staying here." And Linda Hunt tells her, "It's like bullshit, Tom. You're fired." So some people stay behind, and while those people are staying behind, the Cthulhu kills that guy Tom, beheads him, and swings his tail and sends that one cop that was staying with them. He gets impaled by glass, and the asshole Greg, he runs away, and it's dark. He looks in the seats, finds himself in a mirror, but the thing is behind him, and it kills him. But I really enjoy how the design of the Cthulhu. I think it's a cool looking monster as well. Whether it's CGI or practical, it's still the design of the creature is cool looking. It's like with tusk. It has kind of like a mohawk as well. And then when Tom Sizemore meets Penelope Ann Miller and James Whitmore, the dog runs away and it shuts the door and it's beating itself against the door, hurting itself. It's bleeding underneath. Penelope Ann Miller takes a blood sample to get the DNA analyzed, but James Whitmore says, "You leave me here," so I'm staying here. So while they're getting the DNA analyzed, Tom Sizemore tells a story about his lucky bullet. That's how, because the mugger shot it, but it didn't fire. The bullet was perfect, though, but it should have fired. He should have been dead. So he believes it's just plain old-fashioned good luck. I really enjoy his character, though, Tom Sizemore. He did a great job. Then some help arrives. Some armed forces try coming through the ceiling, but the Cthulhu jumps and just grabs one guy in mid-air, decapitates him. Another guy falls, then grabs that guy and decapitates him. One guy is yelling, "Help! Pull me up! Pull me up!" And they're pulling him up, though, but the guy's like, when they bring him out, the guy's been torn in half. So you really get some good kills in this film from the creature. And then sadly, it kills James Whitmore off screen, though. You don't see him get killed, but they find his body in the wheelchair, and sadly. So they try to defreeze it with the liquid nitrogen, but that didn't work out. So Tom Sawyer tells her to go in the lab, seal the door while he fends it off. But it goes to the other side with Penelope Ann Miller, so Tom Sawyer doesn't participate in the big finale, though, sadly. But Penelope Ann Miller, she gets the idea to, she dumps all the stuff that's like highly flammable, creates a little jar to throw it at, to ignite it. But the creature gets up in her face, like licks her. Good looking effects as well by Stan Winston. Really good effects. Throws it up in flames. The creature catches on fire. And of course, with the CGI of it when it's on fire, it's like the same. It's like the same. It looked like the same effects from Deep Rising with the CGI, the full-on creatures, tentacles, and the whole set. I know it's not that great though, but for 1997, I can tolerate it because I'm having fun with the film. I can let all that slide. And she gets this hiding herself in this tank saying, "You go to hell!" Then it explodes. They get her out, and Thomas Osmond tells her to keep his lucky bullet, and then the film ends. Well, before, I forgot to mention that the people that are going out of the sewers, it kills, like, a cop that was behind him, and then another woman as well. But it goes back to get Tom Sawyer and Penelope Ann Miller, so. But the rest of the people, they survive, though. But yeah, I love this movie. It's definitely an underrated creature feature film. 20 years later, it doesn't feel dated at all. It's still an underrated creature feature film. Great effects. The practical effects by Stan Winston. Cool looking design of the monster. I like the premise of it. The monster in a museum. Tom Sizemore, I really enjoy his character. Really do. Penelope Ann Miller, she still does good as well. She does. But I just wish that Tom Sizemore would participate in the finale about the creature, but still. I know one thing that bothers other people who've seen this film, that it's too dark, it's too lit, it's too, like you have to turn off all your lights to see what's going on. Yeah, I know that's a little factor though, but I can let that go though because I'm having fun with the film. Even though I can see that the dark is too dark is an issue, I do understand that part. But this one is definitely a lot fast paced. This one's 109 minutes without 109 minutes, but it's definitely a fast paced film. Sadly though, this film opened in January, the beginning of 1997, and the film flopped hard. A budget of 60 million, and the film made 33 million domestically. Sadly, it was a flop because it was made in January. Stop releasing. This film came out in January. This film flopped. That came out in January. That film flopped. Stop releasing all these good movies in January, man. Just give them a chance to throw them like in the summer or somewhere in the fall, like for Halloween month. You know, probably they'll make more money though. But big budget films like this don't do well in January. They just don't. But the film got mixed reviews, though. It has a 37% Rotten Tomatoes, and it has a, I forget what it was. I think it has a 5.7 IMDb. No, it has a 33% Rotten Tomatoes, and it has a 5.7 IMDb. Got my numbers mixed again. But at least got some good thing here. Siskel and Ebert gave this film 2 thumbs up, surprisingly. This person from a preview channel calls it an out of your seat suspense thriller. Don't miss it. Even at Roger Ebert, it was it was both Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel gave this film thumbs up, though. But Gene Siskel just said the film was surprisingly entertaining. That's good enough, surprising to me, to my liking. In Roger Ebert, he said, the film was clever in how it combines the conventions of the horror and disaster genres, and is actually a lot of fun if you like special effects and gore. Yeah. So yeah, Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel, they said those things, and they really enjoyed the movie, surprisingly. Good. May they rest in peace, though. Even though there's some things I won't agree with them, though, but still, at least they enjoy the movie. But yeah, Peter Hyams did a great job with this movie. I would say between this and end of... I would say, yeah, this is definitely I would say this is my favorite Peter Hyams film. I think I might have said a long time ago. But I will enjoy the other films like Peter Hyams had. Well, for the most of them. There's a couple of them that are his weakest ones, though. But for the most part, most of the movies I really do enjoy. I wish Peter Hyams would just do another great movie like something like this, or an action film, or somewhat. Because he's a good director. He knows how to shoot a movie. With a good cast members and score and effects, and if Stan Winston was alive, though, of course, but. It's based on a novel by Douglas Preston, which I've not, and Lincoln Child. I have not read it, though. I just prefer watching the movie. So, and then also another thing that Gene Siskel said on the back of here, it says, a creature that can hold its own with the alien, writes Gene Siskel. When the last reel begins, the special effect is truly awesome. That's another thing that Gene Siskel said about it. But yeah, it's too bad this film flopped hard. I wish releasing these films in January. We'll probably do better. But yeah, I love this movie to death. Definitely one of my favorite creature feature films, let alone horror films. This is definitely, I'll put this in the same link with Deep Rising. But I love this one with death. So 20 years later, the 20th anniversary of this film still kicks ass. I would give it 2 thumbs up, definitely. Anyone who's not seen this film, I highly recommend it. Probably not be everybody's cup of tea, but still, you can. At least you gave it a watch. So, but still, I would still recommend it if anyone has not seen The Relic. I love this film to death. Definitely, I would say it's my favorite Peter Hyams film. I would say. But yeah, that's my 20th anniversary revisit of The Relic. Great movie. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.